Greetings, salutations, and hello. It's Sunday, September 29th, 2024, which is actually completely freaking irrelevant, but I thought I'd mention it anyway, just for shits and giggles. So today, as promised in the previous video, I'm going to be having a look at the Hasegawa P-12E that I started way back in the Stone Age, or, well, a few months ago anyway. Done a fair amount of work on that, so we'll have a little look-see and see where we're up to. And I'm also introducing a new feature today, and I'm calling it the Gripe du jour. Now, these are things that I observe in everyday life that puzzle me or perplex me or just plain old piss me off. Now, they may or may not have anything to do with modeling, most likely not, and it won't be in every single video, it'll be an occasional feature, but I promise it'll be quick and painless, and hopefully you'll get some amusement out of it, and maybe even relate to some of it. But we'll get to that after the Hasegawa P-12E, which we'll do right now. Alrighty then, let's start with the top wing, shall we? There it is there in all its glory. And this is the little contraption that I made to hold said wing while I was painting both sides of it. And basically all I did was drill some holes in the strut location points, super glue in some toothpicks, which are braced with pieces of wooden stir stick, all glued into this handy dandy wooden base. Bit of a Heath Robinson affair, but it did the job very nicely. So I undercoated with Humbrol Trainer Yellow, which is a matte color, and then over top of that was Tester's Model Master Chrome Yellow. And while I was at it, I also did the lower wings, the wheels, and the vertical fin, which I will get to shortly. Now, the next step, as you can see, is masking off for the upper wing chevron, which I've started doing there on the top. Now, unlike US Navy practice of the time, the Army seems to have also done it on the bottom. It mirrors it on the underside of the wing, which must have been a great deal of fun for the maintenance crew that were tasked with masking and painting that off with all the rigging and struts in the way. But fortunately, I don't have to worry about that. Now, this was a little tricky to lay out and get the proportions correct and the location of it. The picture I'm working from, which I showed in a previous video, that's the aircraft on the bottom that I'm going to be doing. And this picture is taken at quite an oblique angle. So it was a little tricky trying to get everything worked out from that picture and translate it to the actual wing. Took a bit of trial and error, but I think I've got it mostly right. Pretty close, anyway. So my next step will be to take it off my little stand here and do the same on the underside of the wing. And you'll notice that I've also masked off where the national insignia are going to go. And the reason for that is that despite our best efforts, whenever we're painting a hard edge like this, that stripe, we're going to have a bit of a paint ridge there, which could show up through the decal. So by doing it this way, I'll make sure that I have a nice smooth surface under there and there'll be no big line underneath my national insignia. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully that works out. So once I get that all masked up, that'll be painted probably in a flat red, and then I'll do it over top with insignia red. And that'll pretty much finish off the top wing. So let's just put this aside for now, shall we? Just put this somewhere. Right there. Let's get on to the really fun bit. The fuselage and lower wings. So, as I mentioned, painted that chrome yellow and the wings chrome yellow. Masked off my orange stripe, which was painted in a previous video. And around that did my custom mix of the olive drab. And I just last night painted that with Gunzy Clear Gloss, ready for the decaling process, which will be the next step. Now, as we can see again in this picture, hopefully you can see it, the orange cheat line down the side is actually outlined in black. And I can't remember where, but I think I read somewhere that those cheat lines, the black anyway, are 1 inch wide stripes. And I'm going to do those with decals because I think that'll be far easier than trying to mask off that thin line and painting it. Originally, I was going to use, find it here, come on, get out of there. Originally, I was going to use microscale 1/64 inch decal strips in black. Oh, Micro scale? Super scale. Same thing. But having a look at the picture and scaling this up, that only works out to about 1/2 inch on the full size thing if I scale that up 32 times. So I think these are actually going to be too thin. So I'm not going to use those. Fortunately, I have a sheet of various size stripes from Print Scale. I'm going to use this one here. I think it's 4th from the top. It's 0.5 millimeters. Now, when I pull that next to the model and compare it to the picture, that looks to be about the right proportion, although if you scale that up, it's actually less than 3/4 of an inch, just under 3/4 of an inch at 16 millimeters. So I don't know, maybe I was wrong about the 1-inch thing, or maybe that's US Navy practice or something, but nonetheless, this one looks right to me. I'm going to use it. The next size up is too big, I think, and the one below is too small. So this is the Goldilocks one. It's just right. That'll be my next step. Get those black stripes on, then I can put the rest of the decals on. And then we get to the really fun bit, assembling and rigging. Now, I know a lot of people are put off by rigging. They often state that as the one reason they don't want to build a biplane, but I guess I'm a bit of a sick puppy because I actually really like rigging. I find it quite enjoyable. And to me, that's where the biplane really comes to life. It starts to look like a biplane and just that bit more interesting than your usual Spitfires and Messerschmitts. Anyway, that's just me. I like biplanes. What can I say? So there we are. That's going to be the next step, and we'll get that in the video, and hopefully I can get that all in one video, get the decaling, assembly, and start the rigging and show you how I do that. We'll get to that. But for now, let's get to today's gripe du jour. Today's gripe concerns bread, or more specifically, bread packaging. Now, I lived in the UK for many, many years, and I know over there you favor those bits of sticky tape to hold the bread bags closed, which frankly are really annoying to get off, but nonetheless, that's what you've always used, and I assume you still do. So you may not relate to today's gripe. Here in Canada, we've always used bread tags, little bits of plastic that hold the bag closed. They work quite well, they're simple, they're fun, and they're actually kind of useful from a modeling point of view because they're made of plastic. I think it's styrene. So if you're desperate for a last little bit of plastic to finish your kit off, you can always use one of these. However, in recent times, at least here in Saskatchewan, they've started substituting cardboard bread tags. Now, I have to assume that this is all down to the big concern with plastic, and more specifically microplastics that are getting into our environment. So I assume that this is an effort to reduce some of that plastic. That's admirable. They work almost as well as the plastic ones, so I don't really have a problem with this. What I do have to wonder about, though, is how they think that this is going to make any impact whatsoever on the problem when the bread still comes in a giant plastic bag. What the hell? Does this make sense to you? Because it doesn't to me. Oh, well, what do I know? Peanut butter. Well, that's all I've got for you today. It's a nice, short, sweet update. Now, I am planning to upload every Sunday because according to YouTube's stats, that's when most people are watching my videos. So it is my plan in future to upload every Sunday. So next weekend, on that note, there will either be a further update on the Hasegawa P-12E, where I will get the decaling and assembly done and hopefully start on the rigging, but it could be something entirely different. I have other projects on the go, and there are videos in the works for those projects, so should I get one of them done, it could be that. It's exciting, isn't it? It's a surprise. You don't know what you're going to get. It's like a grab bag. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but it will be up next Sunday, whatever it is. So as always, thank you very, very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe. Now, other channels always tell you to do horrible things to the notification button, like hit it or tickle it or something. I'm not going to tell you to do that, but if you want to get notifications when a new video comes up, there's some sort of button where you do that, somewhere down here, I think, somewhere. So, yeah, do what you got to do. Anyway, do check out the shop. There's some cool merchandise in there, some Dern Smart shirts or some warped plastic shirts. And I think that's it. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, comment, jump up and down. I don't know, build a rocket in your backyard and be kind to people. That's the most important part. So thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.